What I'm gonna do though is start this video off with like how to get to Anguilla. Like I've known a lot of people, like a lot of my friends was asking me like how I get down because of restrictions and if I don't feel traveling is too much. So I'm gonna do that now. Alright, so what we're gonna do is put it all in one. Okay, so mine was a tad different because I stopped in St. Martin, so I'm just gonna give you all a rundown for that. I went through KLM, so it was a breeze to me. Like I feel like going to Amsterdam is always a breeze. I needed to do what is it called, quarantine exemption form. I didn't have the quarantine exemption form. The lady at the desk, she did it for me, and after that now I went to Amsterdam fine. I stayed in transit, I caught my flight as normal, everybody social distancing, everybody just moving the way they should move, like normal. I wish that they have one seat, like when there's two seats in the corner of the airplane, just leave that one empty. I know they will lose seats, but it's better than being so close to that person. The person I was sitting next to, they didn't move that much. When I reached to St. Martin, just like everything, I got my stuff, I had my mask on, I didn't need to quarantine or anything. So things changed when I was traveling because St. Martin wanted a PCR test. First, they actually didn't want a PCR test if you was vaccinated. Only if you were unvaccinated, you needed the PCR test to go through. The Omicron or whatever it is, that came out, and in a matter of minutes, everything switched. So I needed to get a PCR test. However, that wasn't really an issue for me because I needed a PCR test anyways to get into Anguilla. So say one, say two, them restrictions is what it is, but they don't change as much. Whether you're vaccinated or not, they want you to come through with a PCR test. These other places keep going up and down because you're vaccinated, you don't need this. But no, St. Martin wanted a PCR test. So like I said, I already had that. St. Martin was 72 to 48 hours out or something like that. And Anguilla was 5 days prior. So I just took my test one time to cover that period. If I was traveling if I was going to St. Martin the Friday and was going to Anguilla the Monday, I took a test on the Wednesday. So the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days prior. And then the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 72 hours prior. So it all worked out well. So then to enter St. Martin now, if you're in transit, you have to do an entry application, fill in all your details, the basic stuff. The entry application form to St. Martin, you had to do that 48 hours prior to arrival. And what I had to fill out after to stay in St. Martin was visitors protection plan. So basically you pay $15 and it's like an insurance basically in case you get COVID or anything. Then I came to Anguilla and I obviously all my information would have already been there, so I just caught the boat like normal. Everything, I had all my information. I already paid for my boat. I didn't do it online, but you can do online. You can pay for your boat. It's either with Calypso, that's what I know, are Fun Time charters. I did it with Fun Time, but I got someone over here in Anguilla to pay for that for me. I didn't do it online. But to get into Anguilla now, I recommend you do that like 2 weeks out because it happens in stages. So I had to put in all my information when I'm vaccinated, upload my PCR test. You could submit the application if you don't have the PCR test. What will happen is it'll be like something like a pre-approval kind of thing. So it's best that you get that information in, and then the 5 days prior to departure you upload your PCR test. So then when you do the your basic information, they will pre-approve that. And then when you take the PCR test, it then will move quickly. So then the chief medical officer would approve your PCR test, and then you pay $50 to come into Anguilla, and then they will send you your travel document. That's it. I got my board. I came over. You guys can look at that video. I came over. I got my COVID test. So as you come in, you do a PCR test there on the spot. Then you have to take a taxi. No one can pick you up. None of your friends, nobody can pick you up. You have to go. You have to go with a taxi driver, and they take you to your destination. So yeah, and that's it. Like, I stayed in for 24 hours. Around 10 the next morning, I got an email stating that if you look at the corner of your travel certificate, you will see how long you'll have to quarantine for. If it says 0, because I'm vaccinated, it says 0. So I was free to go the next day, like about 10 o'clock. I know some people got released like 7 in the morning, but yeah, I got released like 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's it. Like, I honestly feel like traveling ain't that hard. As like, what I do is look for my information like the day before, the week before, and I gather it all together, and I do like a checklist just to make sure that I have everything else. And that's it. That is it. I'm gonna talk to you in the next video.